Hello, world. Welcome to episode 171 of the Jimmy Canz Show, classic supercard retrospective. Let's look back at the 1992 SummerSlam. Yes, the SummerSlam we thought would never happen. This one took place. This was a interesting show. It was actually shown on tape delay in the US because the event was held in London, England. Iconic Wembley Stadium, first ever WWF pay-per-view held outside of North America. It was on a Saturday, the 29th of August, 1992. Again, airing on pay-per-view 2 days later in the US. It aired on a Monday, August 31st. Later released on VHS, courtesy of Coliseum Video. As I said, big Wembley Stadium. 78,927 in attendance. It was the largest crowd since WrestleMania 3. The action was called by Vince McMahon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Marked just the second time that the WWF title is actually defended at a SummerSlam. And it also marks the second time that it is defended at SummerSlam and it's not the main event. So, yeah, it was okay. Let's just get into it here. All right, our opening contest on the pay-per-view was a tag team contest. The Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal, with Paul Ellering taking on Money Incorporated, the Million Dollar Man, Teddy DiBiase, and IRS, with the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, in their corner. Let's say this is best remembered, honestly, for LOD's motorcycle entrance because Hawk was, let's just say, in a quote-unquote altered condition, and he got fired shortly after this show. I think he just kind of actually disappeared for a while off into London after the show. And, things weren't good for him personally, and he ends up getting the old Axaruni. So, no, this, actually, led to some real life heat between Hawk and Animal for a few years after this situation happened, which is unfortunate. They did reconcile, down the road, but two friends, that they were, the fact that it almost ended their friendship. That's kind of, it tells you about substance abuse. But anyway, yeah, so this one interesting contest, LOD, getting the W here. Next up, we have Virgil versus Nails. It was match, I guess. They were just, feeding Virgil to Nails, who they want to get over as this vicious heel. So this is, part of the process here, I guess. Total, squash match, really, on a pay-per-view. Next, we have the model Rick Martel taking on the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels with Sherry. This is kind of an interesting one. I do believe Sherry was kind of torn between the two. If memory serves, I think they had a stipulation that neither man could hit the other man in the face. It was an awkward match. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, both men are still heels. So that never goes off well, in my opinion, heel versus heel, especially in this situation. It wasn't even like one of the guys was a tweener. I mean, this is two pure heels. So kind of awkward. I mean, this one just kind of ends in a double count out. So no real closure in the story. But at least the match ended, thankfully. You had the WWF World Tag Team Championships on the line next. As champions, the Natural Disasters took on, as Earthquake and Typhoon taking on the Beverly Brothers, Bo and Blake, with Genius in their corner. Disasters get the win in this one here. Not a big surprise. After that, you got Crush versus Repo Man, with Crush getting the W in this one. The WWF Championships on the line next, as the champion, the Macho Man Randy Savage, takes on the Ultimate Warrior. Warrior actually gets the win in this one, but it is via count out, so he wins the match, but not the title. So Savage does retain the championship. Kind of a, I guess this was a compromise finish. I'm sure neither man wanted to lay down, type of thing. So this was the best it could come up with. So after this, got the Undertaker taking on Kamala. Taker gets the win in this one via disqualification. So, yeah. Like I said, this was just a weird pay-per-view, to be honest. We get a segment before the final match of the night with Roddy Piper, joined by the Balmoral Highlanders for a little Scotland the Brave action. First time seeing Roddy in a little while, so gets a big pop from the crowd. And then the main event is actually the Intercontinental Championship matchup as brother-in-laws collide. You have champion Bret the Hitman Hart taking on the native son, the British Bulldog, Bret's sister, Davey Boy's wife, Diana, out there, torn between her brother and her husband. Great storytelling here. And Bret honestly carrying Davey Boy through this match, as Davey Boy, had been off enjoying himself prior, days prior to this with Hawk. So that kind of tells you what capacity he was in. And, it's a classic match, though. Like I said, it just shows how good Bret could be. That he was able to get what he got out of Davey in the state Davey was in. Great finish there with the sunset flip countered into the pinning combination. One of the first times I think we've seen that, in a North American promotion. So Davey, gets the win, captures the Intercontinental title, and the explosion at the stadium was, one of the loudest I've ever heard. Great way to end the show. The brother-in-laws embrace. Diana gets in, hugs her husband and brother. So it was a really good ending to the show. In terms of Hall of Fame involvement, we have quite a bit here. We get 15 Hall of Famers involved in the broadcast. You got Jimmy Hart, Hot Rod, Sherry, Bret, DiBiase, LOD, all three members there, including Ellering, HBK, Warrior, Paul Bearer, Savage, Bulldog, Taker, Shyster, and everything. And then if you go with voices and interviewers and whatnot, it takes you up to 19 Hall of Famers, because you got to add in Heenan, Okerlund, Lord Alfred Hayes, Howard Finkel. So it was this is was a interesting show. I think it suffered a little bit with the tape delay and what have you. It's a lot of the matches were just kind of throwaway matches, to be honest. You had a squash match trying to get nails over. Prussian Repo was kind of throwaway. There was no thing there. You had a lot of real non-finishes with DQ countouts. Two different countouts and a DQ finish. And then no one title change. Kind of saved the show there at the end. But You know, 10, 10 belt scale. I mean, I'll give it an 8, I guess. I mean, there have been much better shows, but I think that um, the Brett Davey thing at the end really saved this show. I think before that, I mean that match, bumps it, probably gives it a two belt bump. This is probably like a 5 or 6 without that main event. Um, so yeah, it was an interesting SummerSlam. So I thought we should discuss it a little bit as we got SummerSlam coming at us here in a little less than a month. And we'll have our predictions for that one. Our next classic retrospective, we will take a look at Clash of the Champions. I believe this was Clash of the Champions 20. So is it 2021? Center stage. Yeah, it's in Hotland. I think this is 20. Um, and this was an interesting clash. So we'll talk about this one on our next retro. So give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe wherever you are. Hope you're doing well. Take care of one another. I'll see y'all when I see you.